Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. We are on video number 8 of Beguiled Eden to Armageddon, volume 1 by Dr. Joy Jeffries. And we are on Hitler's obsession over the Shroud to clone Yahusha, or JESUS, because a lot of the world are still Christians and they're still asleep. So it says JESUS or Yahusha is the only known person in history to be born as a result of a virgin birth, and whose father was Yahuah, our Creator. He did not have any sin-tainted blood of Cain's lineage flowing in his veins. The mere fact his father was Creator of all makes Satan's desire to clone blood from Yahusha's Kodesh Shroud, or Holy Shroud, that much more intriguing. Since Yahusha was indeed born through a supernatural miracle and resurrected through a supernatural miracle, his cloning would be the most impressive cloning in history. Cloning is not a new science, as many have been led to falsely believe, but has been around for decades. In fact, cloning was a major driving force behind Hitler's genetic experiments. Interesting. Hitler was obsessed with the Shroud of Turin. When he and his top-ranking Nazi officials visited Italy in 1938, they wanted to know many unusual things concerning this shroud. It is interesting that Italy, whose king was Umberto II, and sole owner of the shroud, becomes allies with Hitler and his German Nazi party. Vatican officials tried to deny Hitler ever got his hands on the shroud to do genetic testing of its blood samples. When Hitler was in power, the Vatican did not own the shroud. So it's highly likely that he was able to get his hands on that shroud at that time period. And a lot of the government works with Nazi scientists, or the military too. They even work with a lot of Nazi scientists. A lot of them escaped over to this country after the war, or at the end of the war. It is even more interesting that Hitler's scientists at that same time of their interest in the shroud were trying to find ways to birth children through unnatural black art sciences, not through Yahuah's normal plan of reproduction. For example, Dr. Karl Klauberg, a Nazi death doctor who was convicted in Soviet courts and imprisoned for his atrocities, then released after only 7 years, became known as the father of artificial insemination. Understanding this science of artificial insemination led the way to in vitro fertilization that gave cloning a scientific reality. Removing a woman's egg and fertilizing it outside her body, and then reinserting it, set the stage for cloning human beings. This scientific advancement was just what Hitler was after. It is also interesting that King Umberto II, owner of the shroud at that time, was forced into exile because Italy voted to become a republic after his involvement to ally with Hitler. At ex-King Umberto's death, the shroud was bequeathed to Pope John Paul II and became property of the Pope in 1983. A French Knights Templar, Geoffrey de Charny, was recorded to have displayed the shroud during 1360 in Liray, France. Genealogical and literary researcher Alexei Lidov discovered de Charny as being married to a descendant of a French crusader who sacked Constantinople with the cloth, where the cloth was also seen and had been documented there as Yahusha's burial cloth. Here it says J-E-S-U-S. We know the cloth wrapped Yahusha. De Charny's descendants sold it to the House of Savoy, the family name of King Umberto II. The Kodesh Shroud, or the Holy Shroud, was later damaged in a fire during 1532 and repaired. It has been housed at the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy, since 1578. That's strange that they call it the Shroud of Turin, and it's in Turin, Italy, or around this at that time period. It was in Turin, Italy. Okay. During this time, many were secretly allowed to view the cloth, and even though some say it was removed and hidden from Hitler, there seems to be evidence he did have his scientists involved in research with it. This was entirely possible as Vatican officials were known to have been secretly connected with the Nazis. Even Joseph Ratzinger, who was once a Nazi, became Pope Benedict XVI. I think that's the 16th maybe, in 2005, on Adolf Hitler's 116th birthday, April 20th. Was this just an unusual coincidence? No. Especially when there is all indications Hitler's father was an illegitimate son of a Rothschild. That same Rothschild family from which Hitler stems maintains its close ties with the Vatican and still manages the state of Yahusha or Israel's affairs to this day. It is all part of a well-contrived plan. All earthlings have their blood determined by their father. This is the reason for paternity blood tests in major court cases. There is no such thing as a maternity blood test. Without a human biological father, Yahusha's blood is Yahuah made, a miracle, an anomaly, and worth a lot of money to any person who cloned it or who clones it. Vatican hierarchy knows how precious the shroud really is. This is why they recently spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to have an aluminum case built for preserving it by an Italian aerospace company to shut all light, air, and humidity out. The case was filled with argon gas so no bacteria could thrive inside its casing. In 2008, Vatican officials requested a detailed reproduction of the shroud be made. It was photographed at 12.8 billion pixels in order to view the shroud like it was under a microscope. Next time we will be reading Blood from the Shroud and the Coming Anti-Christ or Anti-Mashiach. And another interesting chapter comes after this. The iconic clone is a soulless imposter. And then that one's a bit longer chapter. And then the Luciferian initiation. Okay, so we have some very interesting chapters coming up. And I can't wait to share them with you guys. And I hope some more of my brothers and sisters find this channel. I wrote a couple songs the last week. I think I sang one of them on here the other day. But let me see. But this one is a new one. It's called Can You Feel His Love Tonight? Torah Rabba, my Abba Yahuah, for giving me the strength when I was weak, for showing me your tender, loving kindness. I cry out to you, and you answer my call. When I feel empty, you lift me up. I pray for deliverance, and you deliver me. I pray for my husband, and you deliver him. I felt your love tonight, and I couldn't help but cry. I thought I heard and felt it all, but your love for me, your mercy. When I was hurting, you lifted me up, higher and higher. Can you feel his love tonight? Yahuah, your love moved me to tears. I wish everyone could feel it. I wish everyone could see it. Yahuah, you healed my home. You healed my being, and you healed my husband. I was lost, but now I'm found. I am forever a servant to you. You cleanse my soul. You brought Shalom back into my home. I can feel his love tonight. Can you feel it too? I can't wait to be with you. Oh, Abba Yahuah. In the kingdom you created for us, and with our fallen loved ones, our fallen loved ones. I love you all with an everlasting love. If you guys go to my community section on my other channel, Kinsley Natsarim Mishpaka, you can see the study where you learn about how the study from Brother Mark on Sparking You is-yah's channel. It was an amazing study, and it really helped. I know it'll help you guys too, and I just please, I want you guys to hear it. He talks about it in the beginning of the lesson about how Moses had to tell Yahuah, no, please don't destroy everyone. I can't lose my loved ones, my neighbors, my friends. So this is why I added the part about with our fallen loved ones, because we do have some loving and beautiful fallen loved ones that didn't know the name of Yahuah when they passed. And this lesson and this study, I promise you, will bring you hope, love, and joy. So please watch it. I love you all with an everlasting love, as our Abba Yahuah and the Shamayim loves each and every one of us. Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. Have a good Iber Tov, or have an Iber Tov, which is a good evening. And what was I going to say? Oh, and I apologize. I am not an alto. I have a very hard time singing the low tones, so I might give that song to a sister that I know that can sing in low tones. And maybe I'll rewrite a few parts of it so that it's not pertaining to my husband. But I love you all so much, and thank you guys for tuning in tonight. All right, shalom.